Hi everyone, it's me back and I have something to show which is not very exciting by itself, but it's presenting some exciting possibilities for the future of my prototype. I received today by mail that box that contained this keyboard. And it's a 5-octave $39 keyboard that pretty much does what it's supposed to do. And my whole idea by getting this was to see if I can basically disassemble the thing and then remove this part and replace with my with the YMK control panel. And I can see based on what I'm looking here that this seems to be a different piece of plastic from this. So there is a big chance that this is either glued or glue melted in, or hopefully screwed in, so that I'll be able to take this out with the entire electronics and then use the electronics that come inside. You can see a little bit of PCB down there to actually intercept what this was going to be sending to the keyboard and read that on the YMK, and then I will have basically fully assembled, easy to play with, regular size keys and 5 octaves. Actually, regular size is not really accurate. These keys seem to be a little slimmer than the ones I use on my MIDI controller, but nonetheless the length of them, you know, based on my hand, you can see they're not tiny toy keys. They are more or less the regular size keys. So I already took out all the screws from this, so I'm gonna see if I can go ahead and disassemble this thing. And apparently I should have taken the back first, which will probably not be so hard to do while filming, because this keyboard is quite light. So okay, let's see what's inside this thing. And I don't know. I don't think it's very easy to do this on the camera, so I'm going to go ahead, finish opening this up, and I'll come back later to show how it's going. 2 hands, it just popped out so easily. So let's take a look. Here's the key assemble. Pretty simple, you know, there's nothing special. These keys are pretty, like, you know, they basically bend the plastic. There is no hinging system or anything. They're just stuck here and they're bendable. And when you push them somewhere, probably these contacts are pushing down on this, which is the whole system of keys. Based on what I'm seeing here, there are 8 wires coming out of here and 8 wires coming out of here, which prompts me to believe it was done in the simple multiplexing, 8x8, 64, and we have 61 keys on this system, so it's you have room to spare. And this goes back here and plugs in this circuitry, which is basically the main board for this thing. And then there's all of the speakers. Pretty simple. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna try to take this apart, which it's not gonna come out just by unplugging. Based on what I'm looking, it seems to be soldered down here. Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, it seems to be soldered down here, so it's not gonna come out uh, just by pulling out, but it's not gonna be a problem to deal with anyway. And that's it. I mean, pretty much. Oh yeah. I also noticed the control panel is definitely screwed in, so that's gonna be very easy to take out and replace with something else, which just works perfect for what I want to do here. All right, so I'm gonna now start making my experimentations and put in some stuff here and see if I get response back, see if those keys are sequential and whatever the works is. And that's it. So thank you very much, and I'll report again when I have more to show. Bye bye. So one day has passed, and after staying up to like 6 a.m. yesterday, here is what I came up with. So here is our keyboard as we always have seen it before. Now I have some wires coming out of this board, and these wires are basically one serial, transmit and receive, power and ground. So power and ground are used to power up this other Arduino here. The transmit and receive for the communication between them. And here all these colorful wires go to hook up to these wires that are the ones that have all the keys from that system over there. The front panel came out like we expected to, so I just remove all the electronics. And now basically what's happening is this Arduino here is scanning all these keys, and if a key is pressed, it sends the key on signal to this Arduino. If the key is removed, not pressed, then it sends the key off signal to this guy. So as a result, if I come here now, let me raise the volume a little bit. So if I come here now, I get all the way up to here from here. So you can see here, as I press the keys over there, they register normally here. So the way I implemented this is this Arduino is essentially doing exactly what any instrument would do over these MIDI ports. So it's basically send MIDI commands, key on, key off. So the interface here was already prepared to understand that. So as a result, it was really quick to implement. I spend more time actually wiring these guys, like figuring the right order and everything, and that's pretty much the result. So now with this done, sorry for that. Now with this done, basically what I have to do is take this keyboard out of this shell and try to fit it on that and see how it goes. But pretty much it's working. And as far as software, all I have to do with the Arduino that's controlling the key input is to, now that it already sends the MIDI okay, now that it already sends the MIDI output to the keyboard, it's to receive some communication to configure, for example, what octave they should be sending as the base. So because right now it's sending octave 0, that's why we have like very low octave, which basically it's not useful for most songs. So you wanna be able to start in an octave. For example, for this keyboard, right now it's default starting at the 3rd octave. So octave 1 and 2 is basically not affected by these keys. But as I can use the octave button here to flip through the octaves, so that what I plan to do is the same thing. Like whenever I push one of these buttons, it tells this Arduino to, instead of sending the key 0, octave 0, key C, for example, it starts sending from 2 or 3, for example. And then because I'll have more keys, then I'm going to have input on higher octaves as well. And I'll probably change the highlighting to be able to show more octaves than just 3. And that's it. So whenever I have this thing somewhat assembled, I'll let you know. And that's it. So whenever I have this somewhat assembled, I'll come back and show how that looks, and probably talk to Abel to see if he can build the control panel that will fit that shell and expose the controls for the YMK. So we'll see how that goes. All right, thanks for watching. Okay, I'm back. So I've been working into getting the keyboard inside the shell. So let's see how that turned out. So looking here, basically you see that the board basically fit inside here, and it's been held over there by, there's some of the things that hold the screws, and it's a little hard to see. Maybe if I get close enough. Yes, so it's being held by those, and on the other side is just like being held right here where the keys are supported. So how does it perform? Well, that's an easy one to answer. Basically, very well. It performs very well, and for my amazement, the board basically really fit inside this. There is some issue here where some of the buttons get kind of obscured, but I don't know if this really needs to be done, or I could definitely like make this smaller here, like cut a piece of this thing so that we can design a front panel that will fit this, and then basically you don't need to see the board exposed. But I think for the effect of this, the idea, this is already very nice. I mean, you can see that you can have a keyboard with keys that really sound, that really feel like, you know, it's any other keyboard. On the back here, I had to drill a few holes. This one's for the heatsink. This one is for the USB. This for the power. The original holes, basically, they don't have any use now. And here, these holes for the MIDI input, and as you can see, they are drilled in the wrong place. And then when I put the board, I noticed I had to make them a little taller, but now they're okay. And then here for the output. So basically, it's very responsive. You can play your favorite songs, I guess, now. I mean, I always play the same tune, but... And you can see, very responsive. I don't really know how to play anything else, but... yeah, so I guess this is done, and until we have the control panel, but I'm not gonna be focusing on that for some time, because I still want to work on this, which is the shell. And just to give you an update on how this is doing now, this is the new model, and it because the printer size, the maximum size is to 20 by 20. We have to do in multiple parts. As you can see, the original shell, it was already divided in multiple parts. And this one we'll have more parts that will come in front of it, basically so that everything is enclosed like this. You know, the keys get the shell go all the way to the sides of the keys. But a big change is now I'm using this system to hold the keys in place, and as you can see before, there was no such thing. There was basically these clips to hold the shell, like you can move it around like this. Problem is, because there was no support on the sides, the shell tended to get a little unstable. And the way this one is quite stable now, because basically I super glue all of these clips here. But that's a terrible solution, because you know this can break, and then if it breaks, how do you have to super glue it again, and it sucks. This is much more solid, and I tested. You know, I can move this around like crazy, and it's very stable. And of course, I have to print the rest of the parts. And this was I printed this in purple because it was my free filament, and I wanted to test, you know, the measurements, make sure that everything is aligned and correct, and it is. I already put the board here and tried. So all I have to do now is print the new parts in the black filament, and then the keys. They show you the keys. So basically, you need to print the white and the black keys that will go with this guy, and then put the board here and see how it look. And then it basically, this is designed to fit this. So we expect it to look good, and to feel right. Now, the key system is a big question mark, because you know, we don't have experience doing that, and I fear that the keys are gonna be wobbly to the side, you know. But it's a trial and error process, since none of us are mechanical engineers and we don't have experience designing this kind of stuff. But it's been a nice journey, and I'm enjoying everything. So hopefully we'll get that part, progress on that part too. And I think this is it for now. I thank you for watching, and hope I can show you more progress soon. Okay, that's all for now. Bye bye.